Hey everyone, I'm Ishan Funk. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm joined by a really awesome guest. She is a legendary voice artist, Wendee Lee. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
You hold the record for the most English dubbed content, North
By a
American
North
actor.
American actress.
Yes. Is
Yes.
that still true?
I think it is still true. I think there are a couple Funimation girls that are coming up quickly to challenge it, and I can't wait to hand the baton to the next record keeper. But I've had that record for a long time. I think it's over 10 years. It's a long record, and I'm not sure of that date, but all of my IMDb information has been put up by someone else. I've
Mhm.
never updated it. I've never added to it. So a ton of my directing credits are not included.
Sure.
Almost all of my writing, adapting credits are not
It's not,
included.
yeah.
But for the stuff that actually goes to air or gets syndicated or anything like that, those always end up getting credited. But it's funny, not all my credits are there.
Really?
However, I had a really fun interview recently with Spike Spencer, voice artist,
Yeah.
who has a really cool thing going on his
I
mind.
I saw that,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's cool. He said, it's probably more like uh, or a third to two-thirds of what you've done. It's probably more like 600 or 700, because when you're in a show you often pick up incidental characters as well that don't often get credited. They're small roles. So
Right.
yes, I was Haruhi and Haruhi Suzumiya, but I did pick up a few incidental characters here and there.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, they
Yeah,
don't credit, they just call it additional voices if,
often. Yes.
Yeah, right, right. That's a good point. So,
Yeah.
but so who even told you that I mean, is there someone who is keeping track of this? Is because how would you know?
I
Did
think
like
it
Guinness come
was.
to you and say, hey,
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't
do you
think
have,
it's a Guinness record. That'd be so awesome, because I think Steve Bloom held it in the Guinness record for North American male actor.
mhm, mhm.
But I think you might have to apply or get involved in that or something. That's
Sure,
certainly
sure.
something I wouldn't do. But I would have a blast if they came to me. Sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I think it came up. Somebody told me at one point, and I said, "How did you know?" And I think they compiled that IMDb, and then when I took a look, I said, "Well, it's got to be much higher, because I have hundreds of things that are not even
You're like,
credited."
that's not right.
Yeah, that's much lower than it
Huh.
would ultimately, but that's fine. I mean, I was part of this latter half of the first wave of Hollywood voice actors that were really involved and active in the beginnings of anime coming here,
Yeah,
starting with
yeah,
Robotech,
yeah,
going through Digimon, etc., and Power Rangers, all of
yeah.
that stuff. So early on, I had my share of many great roles, and
Yes.
I was very much a key ensemble actor, meaning was brought in on many projects along with a core group of people. So that gave me a big leg up in the early days.
Yeah,
And now a Funimation puts out so much with, I think they've got 11 studios, 11 rooms in their one big
yeah,
warehouse.
yeah.
And I guess all of that will be changing and growing even more. So the actors that are working there are having a real opportunity to do a lot of shows a day. The way that they schedule and consolidate their budgets in order to stay super competitive and keep the rates low is an actor will come into the studio there, and they'll go to different rooms working on different shows in one day. We don't really do that in Los Angeles. It's
Yeah.
more, you might have 2 or 3 sessions in a day. You might even have 4 if they're 2-hour sessions, but it's going to different locations or
Yeah.
remotely recording. So we don't have that one stop, all encompassing
Like assembly line type of
corporate. Yeah, yeah.
layout. That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, I guess economically that would make sense to kind of just have that one actor do, like, all right, now you're doing this character in this other room.
Yeah.
Um, and it is interesting. I was looking through your credits, and I didn't realize that I had heard your voice multiple times and I didn't even realize it. Um, and I think the first thing I saw that had your voice in it, but I didn't even know, was Ninja Scroll. N- That
Ninja
is,
Scroll.
yeah, yeah. Just so you know, not the best anime to watch when you're like 12.
I don't think so.
No,
I'm so sorry.
no, but you're right. It was like that wave in the early 90s of just like anime becoming popular. So of course I was like, I'll watch this. This looks cool. It has ninjas.
Right.
But yeah, I did not realize that you were the female lead in that. I was like, what? And then then your Power Rangers, your Alpha 6, stuff like that. So like
Aye. Warning, Rangers, we're about to crash. Thank you, Alpha.
I just wanted to let you do that. I wanted to hear it. That was great.
I can't do it without the arms.
Yeah.
From the original Lost in Space robot.
Do you when you were recording that, does it help moving to do the voice for that?
Yeah, I was really big on that because to me, the design was so inspired by the Lost in Space robot from way back, like a black and white series. And then it was color, Technicolor. And so to get into that sort of automated cadence where you sort of chop up the words, that physicality of having a tight torso and trunk and moving more from the waist than moving from your shoulders, just that placement helped me make it staccato, and it felt more like closer to a voice match for what Horowitz was doing before me.
Yeah. That's interesting because you weren't the first one to voice that character. So did you maybe go back and watch all the previous versions to see how they did it? And then did you try to like combine them to make a new one, or did you want to just try and make your own voice based on what they were showing you for the 6th version?
So interesting. It's kind of all of that. Power Rangers is the first show that I started directing ADR on. So I was working with all of the characters that came in for any of their recorded voicing. So anytime the Rangers had helmets on, or the guest monsters in the puppy suits, all of that stuff had to be recorded in studio. So I was one of the ADR directors then, so I was familiar with all of the versions of Alpha and all of the different monsters. We had gone through all of the antagonists. So I was really the thing about getting cast in a show is you want to be working. So you want to be a working actor. We don't often find ourselves in a position to accept or decline a job. You just want to work. So you'll take any job. Yeah. I'm trying to get this weird thing in the corner out. What is that? It did? No.
It's your floor attacking you. I don't know.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna disappear for a minute.
Sure. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Oh, you're gone.
There. I'm totally gone. Okay. Yep. And now I'm going to reappear. Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. They even have effects in space. Look at that.
Yeah, it's great.
So I wanted to try to score the part, and they had outlived some of the voices, and they had tried other things, and it had moved more in that direction, the way Richard was sort of playing it. And it more or less became a voice match, was sort of the idea, but they wanted it to sound different enough to give Alpha a new number.
Yeah.
So I was using all of that direction as far as the voice placement goes. And I had been imitating and mocking the voice for a while anyway. So they basically said, do the thing that you've been doing.
You're like, that's it.
Yeah. And I was just thrilled because it meant, more episodes that was job security. So everything otherwise was completely freelance. So I never knew when I would be working or how much I would be working. And jobs were still kind of scarce in that time. Jobs got better, and there was more work for us when video games really launched and RPGs were being voiced. That changed everything. Then there were way more opportunities to hire actors and adapters and directors.
Yeah, I think you have like 300 video game voice credits, and I was like, really? And then I look like, oh, you're basically in almost every video game franchise I've ever played.
Well, I hope that's a good thing.
No. It totally is. It just means I've heard your voice, and I just didn't even know.
Well, that's good, because vocal comedian and vocal chameleon
Chameleon, yeah.
and vocal dramatist. We try to use all of that stuff to give you a new vocal performance that you
Yeah.
don't identify. And then over the years, there's those great I spyers who are like, hey, that's the girl from this cartoon and this game and also that movie. And then you guys can call us out. I'm like that too. I'm at a point now where I almost never forget a voice. I
Oh,
start to
wow.
forget faces now. And I never used to forget a face, I just forget names. But now I'm so programmed auditorially to hearing and remembering voice prints that I identify voices all the time. In fact, I listen to
Hmm.
the news from the other room, and I can almost always identify who's speaking just by, their voice print.
Yeah. I guess, yeah. I mean, I would imagine, as a voice actor and actress, you need to develop that, that skill. Do you see something
Oh
now?
my God. Yes, I see.
Okay, cool. So you mentioned that you've been to quite a few conventions. What character do people associate you with the most?
Oh, Faye, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
From
cute
Cowboy Bebop.
moment.
Yep.
Yeah, that was when,
Is that the number one?
oh yeah, absolutely. Faye. Yeah, I think so. And I love that moment backstage. We had a whole cast of Cowboy Bebop cosplayers, and it was the four Beboppers and Mary Elizabeth, and they were like, "Come back, we wanted to see their costumes." And so they came backstage and asked us to autograph their costumes, and she asked me to autograph her bum. I was like, "Are you sure?" And she was so happy. Look at, we're both smiling so
Yo,
much.
yeah, yeah. It's a great photo. I had to
So
put it in this.
it's so
Um,
cute. And that
yeah.
big screen that you're seeing behind is where they were showing all the graphics for the Bebop show. That was
Oh, yeah.
the Cowboy Bebop, what do they call it? Cool Cat Jazz Experience.
That
I
sounds
think
right.
that was at Anime Expo Los Angeles like 5 years ago, something like
Mm-hmm.
that. And they had a live band and dancers. And when we walked into the big convention room where this was taking place, the actors, they were playing Tank live. And we all
Oh,
just kind
wow.
of grabbed each other and we started crying to hear it live. It was just wow.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
That first picture holds a lot of memories for me.
Most identifiable characters. Um, I remember you saying that the feet of a character are one of the things you look at when you're trying to come up with a voice.
Yes. Yes.
What were the first things of each of these characters that they showed you?
But I remember being really impressed with her movement, the
Mm.
action, the stealthiness of her movement, and how she had that ninja energy like a man. So many of my characters have. I mean, look at them; they all have some kind of
I
masculine
That's very
quality.
true. Yeah, very true.
They always do because I play such strong women, and I'm so honored to be able to be a voice actor that can do that. Because I won't always get cast for that on stage or on film. Um, but I think that I could make a good case for it now with my body of characters that I've collected. Um,
Totally.
so she was action and intensity and deadly and transformative eventually. And then Kay from Akira was the remake. It was a 10-year or 15-year remake
Hmm.
master that we did. And played opposite Johnny Bosch. And to me, she was like the most androgynous character I may have ever had. And I really
Totally. Yeah.
just thought of her with a lot of boy spirit. And like I say, a lot of my girls, my characters like girls. So many of my
Didn't really
characters.
notice that till now. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
And so I don't want to be in a position where I can't play those characters anymore. And that matters to me. I like playing androgynous. I like blurring the lines. I love playing grotesque. I
Hmm.
love playing finding the beauty in the grotesque, as John Lennon would say. And I'm very interested in this male energy that is channeled through these women, and yet they maintain their femininity in for the most part. Kay, I think, is more generic because of the times, that it's more like wearing the uniform, fitting in,
Yeah. Yeah.
conforming on some level.
Hmm.
And for Faye, I mean, what I didn't know where the eye candy never stops. I didn't know what to zone in on with her. The white go-go boots, the purple hair, the
Right,
amazing
right.
hairline. It was really her Western energy. Like her, she could be a girl that I would hang out backstage at a great, huge arena concert where we're both on the VIP list. I could completely see her, and I've been in those positions. My acclamation in the music world was, just a wonderful whirlwind of, sex,
Yeah.
drugs, and rock and roll, like all
Right,
of it.
right, right. Of
So
course.
cool. So that's how I got into the business, into post production, was from my friend who did live arena sound for big bands. So she just was a girl that I knew. I knew these girls. And this kind of girl is an onion, and you have to keep peeling it back to really find out who she is,
Yeah,
because the
yeah.
whole presentation is so overwhelming that you'll just stay there. But being able to get into her little go-go boots and really experience her life and her wiles, her femme fatale, her intelligence, her cunning, her ability to utilize all that she is, kind of unabashedly, is very liberating.
Mhm. Yeah. Wow. I love it. I love it. Yeah. I just wanted to show this because these were, even though these were your most identifiable ones, these aren't necessarily the ones that I recognize you from. So I just think it's like really interesting to see, like, these are like your most famous roles, but then there's like so many others that you were a part of. Um,
I love
and
that.
obviously this was
Oh,
one of them.
so
Yeah.
cute.
So
Scorpina.
my question is, do you think it's
Oh,
more challenging?
oh.
Do you think it's more challenging to come up with a voice for a character that hasn't been put to screen yet, or coming up with a voice for a character that has been portrayed by others?
Um, Voice matching is highly technical and very, very challenging, but you will know in a moment whether you're close or not. So
Mm,
most of us would just, yeah, as far as matching a voice, would be like, I'll give it a no, nope, not me. But I know I can tell you who'd be really good for it. Like, voice actors are so willing to recommend somebody else. Now, an on-camera actor, not so much. Like, no, don't put me in your film. Put this person in the film, is rare, right?
mm,
As a voice actor, you don't want to be in a position in the studio where you've been hired to match this person, and now you're there and you can't deliver. So that's more
uh,
humiliating and disappointing for everyone than to just recommend the person that's the natural fit for that voice.
right.
So that's how voice matching goes. As far as creating a new voice from whole cloth, that's what I'm into, because I want to create something new and or enhance what I'm working on, add something more to it, not just duplicate whatever was being done in the Japanese or the original language,
Yeah, yeah,
but actually, artistically create something new. So that's always more fun for me. But I love having a lot of information about a character if the production company is clear about what they want. They know that it's going to have a certain texture, it's a certain timbre,
yeah.
it's got, it's timeless because it's such an old character. It's mysterious, it's whispery. They want to give us all of that information, we will use it, and I love it. And I'll honor all of that information and try to make it come out of my instrument, my voice.
Yeah.
So that's fun too. It's
Yeah.
like, kind of like all of it.
Right.
Yes, all of it's fun.
Yeah. That's
But
cool.
it's hard
Yeah.
work too. I mean, it's not just, you hear us talk a lot about the fun, but there's a lot of pressure to deliver. There's a lot
Yeah.
involved that goes with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Has there ever been a voice that that you didn't use for a role, but then you used it for another role? Like, you're like, I'm gonna remember that one for something else. And has
Oh,
that ever
yeah.
happened? Yeah.
I had a producer who had come from fandom, and I didn't know
Mhm.
that, and was actually, ooh,
Oh, that's
so
also me
sorry.
calling.
Oh my gosh. I
I
might have
promise
to
we'll
mute
wrap
this.
this up. I'm sorry I'm
Okay.
taking so much of your time.
This is,
You're
oh,
so busy.
I don't know what to do because
It's
that's
like,
my day.
people,
I think it's
she's talking to
Amazon.
me right now.
Pretty sure it's Amazon. Let me check.
Okay. Yeah. No, this is fine. This is why I record
Hello?
stuff.
Hello? I think we got a delivery. Thank you. We're working from home.
I'm definitely going to leave that in the interview.
That's a first. I've had everything happen, but I haven't had
That's right.
delivery happen.
I'm going to ask you, what was it like meeting Stan Lee? And can you talk about that and what's happening in this photo?
It's so amazing. So I did a con in Phoenix, Arizona. I think it's a movie and Comic-Con type thing. And our signing booths were side by side.
Oh man,
And
that's amazing.
I said, that's because I'm your long lost cousin, Wendee Lee. We're related. We're both Lees. And
That's a
he
good
just gave
one.
me the biggest hug. As soon as I told him that, he was just so sweet and humble and amazing. And you can see like the twinkle in his eye. What a
Yeah.
sweet guy. And we're kind of color coordinated. I didn't even realize that.
Oh yeah. Well, that's why I was confused. I was like, were you guys touring together? Was this part of like a
Yeah,
movie you
it
guys
was
were in? I wasn't sure.
it was cute because a lot of my fans asked for both of us in the picture. It was really
Oh,
cute.
that's amazing.
And they were able to sort of say hi, Stan, while they were at my table because his line was mega, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
But I said, I was just so happy that I had a chance to meet him and how much he mattered in my career. And I fangirled out on him, and he was just
Yeah.
so sweet. I think I mentioned something about Red Star, the Superman Red Star saga, which
Yeah,
is
yeah. I think you were
yeah,
in that, right? Yeah, you
I
were. Yeah.
did. Yeah, I
Yes.
was Wonder Woman in that, right? Was I Wonder Woman? I think so.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
I'm like telling him all about it, and he's like, uh-huh. And then I realized it's not one of his
Whoops.
titles. Yeah.
I'm sure he loved it. I'm
He
sure he
was
loved it.
really cute about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's heard it all. He's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Highly missed.
I'm gonna pause for a second because there's an ambulance driving by.
Yes, now it's your turn.
Okay.
Oh,
Last photo.
I didn't even know I had all these celebrity
I
photos.
was gonna say you've met a lot of celebrities.
I have throughout my career. I've worked with a lot of celebrities. Yeah.
And were these at conventions? Just
This
like
is a convention in London. It's funny, I'm remembering all the locations. I couldn't tell you the year. This is probably about 8 years, maybe something like that, 10 years ago, with William himself.
yeah, yeah. That's
And
crazy.
this is the green room. We were backstage in a large convention center, and they created a green room, and we were hanging out. And I didn't want to bug him, but he was really sweet about it. And he was like, "Yeah, come sit on my lap."
I mean, I'm sure he gets that a lot. Like, all right, yeah, I'll sign this thing. Come on.
You can tell.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
there's something like we both have a similar look in our eyes. It's interesting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Like
That's cool.
we're both kind of like, yeah, this is awkward, but it's cool.
Yeah, but you would always regret it, right? You would always regret not talking to
Totally.
William Shatner.
There are many people I haven't approached, and I did regret it. But I also am super sensitive to the moment.
Oh, absolutely,
I've
absolutely.
I've been approached in elevators or going in or out of the bathroom or in the bathroom. People have asked me to sign stuff. It's very, very awkward. So if you're just a little decorum, just consider if you were in
Yeah.
that position, would you want someone to approach you? And I once heard a celebrity say, if somebody approaches you at dinner, do you sign an autograph? And they said, absolutely not. No one should ever approach anyone in the middle of a meal.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I just got it. I was like, got it.
Yeah.
You're right. That's
Totally.
just a fast rule.
Yeah. I totally agree. I mean, imagine like you haven't even washed your hands yet, and someone's like, please sign this thing. You're like,
I
Yeah.
mean, it's one thing as somebody's getting up to say, I'm sorry to interrupt you here. I would just be so honored if I could get a signature outside,
Sure. Sure.
but you just have to consider when people have their downtime, because the
Yeah.
whole thing
Yeah.
about being a public person is cycling up your energy for the public and cycling down in private so
Yeah.
that you recharge. So it's really important that people get timed for that. And it's a pacing thing. Everybody finds their own way to
Well,
recharge.
yeah. There's just no way that you can be on all the time. Like,
Right.
and that's how you go crazy.
Yep. I just heard this interview on a podcast, and somebody was saying the great Peter Sellers, Clouseau, the Pink Panther. I don't know how many of you guys
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
Sellers, major comedian and star. they used to say everybody wanted to invite him to their parties because he was so funny. And he would always say, I can't understand why anybody would want me there. I'm the most boring person, because he was shy and reclusive in life. And in front of the camera, you're a whole other character. And that's where you can, yeah,
Right.
turn it on.
Yeah. Well, it's like, you're only showing people what you want them to see, kind of thing. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
I mean, there's the duality, the highs and lows, the ups and downs, the turning it on and
Sure.
turning it off of all things that give you, that's how you create balance.
Where can people follow your work online besides all of the shows and like video games and the anime? Is there a place online that they can follow you?
Oh, I just have Twitter, Wendee Lee VO, and Facebook is Wendee Lee artist, and it's always all E's. WENDEELEE. Thank all of you for joining us. Thank you for caring. Thank you for your support. And just know that we are all connected through this little genre of anime and games and entertainment, and that our hearts are in our performances, and that's what you connect with, and it's meaningful and it matters. And thank you for caring.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. It was an honor. And I would love to have you back on again at some point in the
Yeah,
future. So
let's do it
yeah,
again. That was
yeah.
so nice.
Awesome. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, everyone.
All right.
See you, space cow people.